Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to another installment in our No Buff Rift Clear series. Today we are continuing right along forward where we left off, and that brings us to the level 25 wave. Defeat 200 enemies at the Xavier Institute Rift within the side difficulties. And this one is fairly similar to one that we saw in the Lambda difficulty, but the biggest difference here is the fact that instead of facing off against Kree soldiers, we will be facing off against Outriders with a few Sentinels mixed in. And that's really kind of where this challenge ramps up in its difficulty, because the Outriders, they're just stronger opponents. They have more health that you have to chew through, and that can cause a couple of issues and problems when it comes to finishing out this rift and getting the full clear condition. But we'll talk our way through this battle sequence as we go through, just so you can kind of employ a couple of good strategies for combat. And I will tell you right now that because of the no buff restriction that I have on my team, I wasn't able to meet the 3-minute requirement for this rift, and a lot of that comes down to the fact that the abilities and synergies that I'm using in the middle of the fight are highly inefficient, and they're just not dealing the amount of damage or allowing me to chain those abilities on top of each other as much as I would hope that I could. However, it's still a completable rift, even if you cannot get all of the rewards from it. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the strategy here. So the majority of the opponents, like I said in the beginning, are the Outriders, and most of them, at least initially, are the standard grunt type Outriders that you can attack into and discourage that retaliation out of. So the hammering into those opponents is certainly beneficial, and the more of them that you can group up together, especially with characters that have larger sweeping hits out in front of them, Wolverine and Hulk work really well for this type of a task. But the more that you attack into those characters as a group, the faster that you can chew through the 200 enemies that are needed. At each 50 enemy defeated milestone, you will have a Sentinel that shows up. So at 50, 100, and at 150, you will see the Sentinels pop in. And you will probably want to drop what you're doing and focus them down, because you get the explosive core out of the Sentinels for taking them down, which can be thrown into your opponents to take them down a little bit quicker. And it will also spawn in 3 different explosive canisters that you can use to your advantage as well. And I recommend throwing these canisters with characters like Hulk, because he is a little bit more resistant to the incoming attacks from your opponents in this area. And that's really going to help you shave down on your time. Additionally, detonating the Sentinel cores and the explosive canisters is a really good way of dealing with the powerful enemies that come in later in this rift. And of course, we are seeing that in the form of the stronger versions of Outriders. The most annoying portion about these guys is they do have an ability that I guess you could call a pinwheel, where they will spin repeatedly and drive you backwards across the battle arena, and that deals a considerable amount of damage, as well as puts you out of commission from retaliating against them for that entire duration of their attack as well. So trying to get away from that as much as you can is always an advisable strategy for dealing with and coping with the attacks that come out of the powerful Outriders. Apart from that, the strategy is very straightforward. When you have the Sentinels pop up, take them out, throw their cores in the explosive canisters, and you should be fine. You can very easily accomplish the defeating 20 powerful enemies clear condition by focusing more on the powerful enemies, but honestly, enough of them show up towards the second half of the fight to the point where you're going to get that anyway, just by focusing on the large groups of enemies as they cluster together, rather than having to focus them down directly. But really, that's as complicated as this rift really gets. I will probably try and double back and get the 3-minute clear condition squared away once I have the team at a considerably higher level. It will probably be easiest to accomplish when my characters are at level 75 or 80, given the no buff circumstances that I have applied to them for the purpose of this fight. But what do you think? Do you agree with my approach to this rift, or do you feel like there's something that I should be doing different despite the fact that I am not ranking up any of the characters' abilities? Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I hope this helped you in your own efforts to get through and clear this rift. And if you've made it this far into the video, make sure that you drop a like and don't forget to subscribe for the daily variety content. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.